What is up, YouTube universe and beyond? Trey here, bringing you another edition of Job Corps 411. And this week, I don't have one, not two, but a whole series of new questions for a new Q&A. But to give a little more backstory on this situation, let me go ahead and reintroduce somebody to you guys. This person has not only been a loyal viewer of the content, and not only has this person been subscribed to this channel since the moment they discovered this channel, this is a living legend right here. This person is the one, the only, Miss Montario. Now, if you don't know who Miss Montario is, go back and stop this video right now and go click back on my last Q&A session. She was the one who sent me that question about whether or not you can sneak weed on center. Yeah, thank you, Lauren, for that one. On to this new series of questions that she sent our direction. Now, I'm not going to cover each and every one of them in one video because that would take way too long. But instead, I'm going to go ahead and dissect parts of her question and make them into their own individual video. That way, I get to milk more content, but at the same time, I actually get to go in more detail about each one of these tasks, and I get to cover more about how each of these can be applied in a Job Corps setting, if that made any sense. Let's go ahead and get to the first question that Miss Lauren Montario sent our direction. All about the dress codes and what you absolutely cannot wear. What you can, if you can bring your own uniform clothes so you don't have to wear the same ones all the time. So let's go ahead and talk about that in this video. With Job Corps uniforms, can you bring your own? The answer to this? Yes. It took me a while to answer that because in a way you can bring your own uniform, so at the same time they're not encouraging you to do so. In their mind, well, why would you want to bring your own uniform? We got you your own uniform. You're giving free clothes. Technically it's not really free because it takes out your first pay call. But you're getting your own free clothes. I don't see why you would bring your own clothes because they fit me better. And plus, the better your clothes fit on your person, the more likely you are to be a more productive student. With bringing your own uniform, of course, it have to be like exact word-by-word copy of what they're offering. I'm not talking about like brand copy, obviously, but at least a really solid copy, as if it looks like it could have been passed off as one of their uniforms in some time frame at some point in time. If your center made a transition from an old uniform to the new one, don't bring in more clothes that's more identifies with the old one. Bring in clothes that identifies with the new uniform. For example, when I was in Gainesville, they were starting to incorporate the use of khaki pants instead of the black pants that we all had. And I never really got a pair of those khaki pants until later on when I got into the St. Louis Job Corps Center. So as for getting that kind of clothing, I would recommend just bringing in your own, but only if it's like really necessary. If you're like me and you're a big dude and they're not going to have clothes that are going to fit you perfectly, then they'll make an exception for you. But if you're like an average Joe with like size 30 something waist, then you really don't have that much of an excuse to not wear their clothes. As for the uniform policy, it's not really that much of a big deal. They give you 3 sets of the same uniform, 3 polos, 3 pants. Now, you might be thinking, well, why only 3? Why not 5? Because there's 5 training days in the week. Well, they do this on purpose to try to encourage you to go and wash your clothes, a practice that some people don't really have. The practice of washing clothes in Job Corps is tedious to the point where you have to make sure you keep an eye out on your shit non-stop. Because if you have something that people want, they will steal it. My phone being a good example. But this doubles especially with clothing. Personal story time, people. When I was in Gainesville, I had a female friend who would tell me how she had a roommate that would steal her drawers, her panties. She had a roommate that would steal her underwear, people. I know that sounds freaking disgusting, but considering how a lot of people don't really get that kind of luxury of having multiple pairs of underwear, that doesn't surprise me. The only thing that had stolen from me in the clothing department was one of my CPP polo shirts, which isn't really that much of a big deal. They're easily to get mixed up, but nobody's gonna try to bring it back to you, that's for sure. I had a towel taken from me, which that was my fault because I left it out overnight and I forgot about it. And I think I lost a pair of socks. I'm pretty sure I did. If not, then I just threw them away because they got really, really old. Other than that, you're pretty much set. If you don't like doing laundry, then you have to make sure you manage your time wisely. Use your phone. Use it as a timer. Set it for like 35 minutes. That's how much time it usually takes to wash your clothes. Then set it for an hour or 15 minutes for drying your clothes. That's how long it usually takes for your clothes to be dry. As soon as your phone goes beep, 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 you better run your ass to the laundry room if you're not already there. Because people will move your stuff. Make sure you get accustomed to that. If you aren't there, people will move your stuff for you and move it out the way. So if you see your clothes in a wet pile on top of dryer machines, then you can't really get mad because you wasn't there to protect your stuff, like I mentioned earlier. The same thing when your clothes are dry, and this is the real dangerous part. If you have clothes that fit, like I don't, you are more likely to get your stuff stolen if it's right there in broad daylight. Anybody can just steal them. Hell, somebody forgot to take their headphones out of their pocket when they were washing their clothes, and their headphones got stolen. True story, bro. It's sad. It's really sad to talk about theft in Job Corps because it's an ongoing problem that's probably never going to change. Just like the YouTube broken copyright system, but it's something that we all just go through and put up with anyway. So I hope that answers your first question on this material. Second question, I'm going to answer in the next video.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want more videos. Like if you appreciated the information. And share to spread the knowledge.